Story 1. The Forest Dweller. There was a small town nestled in the woods, where a legend of a mysterious creature had been whispered for generations. The townspeople called it the Forest Dweller, a creature that was said to lurk in the shadows and prey on anyone who dared to venture too far into the woods. One dark and stormy night, a group of teenagers decided to test the legend by exploring the forest. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they set out into the darkness, determined to prove that the Forest Dweller was just a myth. As they walked deeper into the woods, the wind howled through the trees and the rain pelted them with icy droplets. Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound coming from the bushes nearby. They froze, their flashlights pointed towards the source of the noise. Out of the darkness stepped a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. Its eyes glowed a menacing red, and its skin was slick and black as obsidian. Its body was humanoid, but it moved with an unnatural grace, as if it were gliding across the forest floor. The teenagers tried to run, but the creature was too fast. It chased them through the woods, its long, spindly arms reaching out to snatch them up. One by one, the teenagers fell to the ground, their screams drowned out by the roar of the storm. In the end, only one of them survived to tell the tale, but the Forest Dweller had left a mark on them that would never fade. They never returned to the woods, and they warned anyone who would listen never to venture too far from the safety of their homes at night. Story 2. The House. There was an old abandoned house at the edge of town that had been empty for years. Locals whisper that the house was cursed, and that anyone who entered would never return. One day, a group of teenagers dared each other to explore the house. They entered cautiously, expecting to find nothing but dust and cobwebs. But as they made their way through the dusty, dark rooms, they felt a sense of unease creeping over them. As they descended into the basement, they heard a faint whispering sound coming from the shadows. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness, shrouded in a tattered cloak. It was a woman, her face twisted into a grotesque mask of rage. The teenagers tried to flee, but the woman was too fast. She cornered them in the basement, her voice rising into a blood-curdling scream. One by one, the teenagers disappeared, swallowed up by the darkness. The woman's screams echoed through the house, filling the air with a sense of dread and foreboding. No one ever saw the teenagers again, and the old house remained abandoned, a silent witness to the horrors that had occurred within its walls. Story 3. The Bridge. In a small town, there was a bridge that was said to be haunted by the ghost of a young girl who had drowned in the river many years ago. Legend had it that if you walked across the bridge at night, you could hear her mournful cries echoing through the darkness. One night, a group of teenagers decided to test the legend by crossing the bridge. As they walked across the creaking wooden planks, they heard a faint whispering sound in the distance. Suddenly, a figure appeared on the other side of the bridge, shrouded in mist. It was the ghostly figure of a young girl, her face twisted in agony. She beckoned the teenagers towards her, her voice soft and plaintive. As I drew closer, the girl's features began to distort and warp until she was transformed into a hideous, demonic creature. The teenagers tried to run, but the creature was too fast. It chased them across the bridge, its long, clawed fingers reaching out to grab them. One by one, the teenagers fell to the ground, their bodies writhing in agony. In the end, only one of them escaped the creature's grasp. They ran back to town, their heart pounding in their chests, and warned everyone never to cross the bridge at night. But some say that on still, quiet nights, you can still hear the ghostly cries of the young girl calling out to those foolish enough to tempt fate. Thank you for listening to tonight's story. Tune back in next week as we dive into the world of cryptids, extraterrestrials, and the great unknown. Good night.